Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. I'm Rigger Sticks, but my friends just call me Sticks, and today is part 2 of the Brit Tries American Snacks UK versus USA. Let's get started. So I have done my best to assemble as many of the items as I could find, either with the UK approved ingredient changes or the UK's alternative. Because at the end of the day, whilst many of the items that I purchased over in LA are the originals, just like The Godfather, Bad Boys or Shrek, sometimes the sequels are better. So I kind of decided that the easiest way that I could really do this was by re-watching the taste test that I did, reminding myself of what my opinion was, and then taste testing the UK's version. There are a couple of items in which I was not able to gather for this, as they just didn't have a UK alternative, or for example, the product itself was quite universally used, and it just wouldn't have been fair for me just to pick a random item that fit the criteria because it had similar flavors. So what I am going to do is, just like in the UK versus USA snack test that I did previously, I have a list of all of the items that were in the previous video but using their UK alternatives, and I'm gonna basically judge, do I think that the UK's is better, or do I actually think that the US's is better? Now, some of these items just weren't available in the UK, so some of them I can't really do much about. So for example, the coffee caramel M&Ms, as much as I enjoyed them, they weren't available, but 100% top tier. I think it was actually the only thing that made it into the S class in the video. I actually need to make a little confession too, and that is the caramel cold brew M&Ms. Caramel cold brew. They were consumed the day I got home, which was like Saturday. Did I suffer for them? Yes. Okay, yeah, so it's only fair really that they remain in the points for the USA because they genuinely were so good. And I'm really sad that I can't find them in the UK, and the only way that I can get them is by importing, and it's just way too expensive. Right, what was next? Next up on the list are Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces! I do. I have Reese's Pieces. I'm aware it's Reese's Pieces, by the way. I don't know why I said PCs in the video, but now I can't stop saying it. This is literally the shape of Smarties. Okay, let's just go with... You know what? I'm not the biggest fan of peanut butter anyway. The peanut butter in this isn't actually as aggressive as I thought it would be. I was expecting it to be almost like my mouth really struggling to get through all of the peanut butter. Okay, so they ended up in the B tier. Feeling these feel tiny in comparison to those ones. Now it could just be the particular one that I got. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, please open. Okay, you know what? That'll do. That'll do. Oh no, they are the same size. Okay, all right. Well, they look very similar. They look slightly different in color, not by much. These are... Caught it. These are a little bit like, looks like the shells might be thinner maybe? I don't know. Well, definitely more melted than the ones that I had back in June were. That tastes pretty much the same. So the important question is, where do Reese's Pieces come from? Okay, they're Hershey. Right, okay, so yeah, so they're USA, so you know what? It's gonna have to be a point for the US of A. Okay, so next on the tier list is Milk Duds. Okay, so Milk Duds. So we don't actually have Milk Duds in the United Kingdom, but what we do have, hi Snickers, are Poppets. Now, I already know what Poppets taste like because they are one of my favorite types of sweet treat. So I decided that I would get the mix-ups, which has toffee, salted caramel, malty crunch, and chocolate. It says open here. I'm trying. Okay. How am I supposed to open you? Wait, is it here? Ah, it's here. Oh my gosh. American packaging was easier to get into. Maybe I should give them an extra point just for that. I have absolutely no idea which ones I have picked out. I'm gonna try and find a toffee one, because then that is... Oh no, one's running away. Because then that is a fair comparison to Milk Duds, since Milk Duds is toffee. So, let's see. That wasn't it. That's the chocolate. That's a multi one. That's also a multi one. That's a multi one. That's also a multi one. That's also a multi one. Oh my god, have I gotten gypped? What the heck? Try this one. Toffee! We have toffee. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. I love caramel, even though I should not eat it. And you know what? It is the typical like American chocolate that I would expect. But once I was eating it, I was like, you know what? I think Poppets is kind of a cheap chocolate as well. So that comment right there that I just made about Poppets using cheap chocolate, no, definitely is milkier. It's definitely more like the English chocolate I'm used to. I will say I appreciated the size of a Milk Dud versus a Poppet. However, as much as I did love that, I gotta give it to the UK for the chocolate, because the chocolate is definitely better. So yeah, so sorry. The caramel was pretty much the same, but the chocolate for me just does make a difference, unfortunately. It's my British palate. Is Mr. Beast's Feastables, and I have the dark chocolate. So yes, now obviously Mr. Beast Feastables, they're from the US. There is no denying that whatsoever. And also, a little side note, I ordered these pre-drama. Not touching on it because I'm not informed enough, but I ordered these pre-drama. The one that I had here is apparently the rebranded version because a lot of people were saying it was really gross. However, I also discovered that previously they had like several different flavors, and they do still now using like the new brand, but they just did not have any others in Walmart. That's right, I correctly called it Walmart this time. I'm really sorry for calling you Target so many times. So I bought the milk chocolate, original chocolate, crunch, and these nuts. I'm not gonna lie, I never thought those words would ever pass my lips, and yet here we are. We're gonna try a piece of each one. This is the chocolate with peanut butter. Okay. I mean, it's not terrible, it's not great. Really, really salty, and I don't mind a salty chocolate, but oh, what is that aftertaste? Okay, the next one is the crunch. Okay. You know, I don't like something when I take tissue to wipe my hands rather than licking it. No. It's the milk chocolate. This is not worth the reaction my body will have from this much dairy. Alright, last one. This is the original chocolate. Only 4 ingredients. I don't know if you can tell I'm not enjoying this experience right now. It's that same flavor in every single one. That leads me to believe that they are either burning their chocolate or they don't care and they buy really, really cheap cocoa beans. Because that's foul. It's absolutely foul. So with this, obviously, there isn't actually a place that I can put it because, yes, it's a USA product, but it's bloody disgusting. Sod it. Let's make a new one. We're going to call it Nope. It just doesn't deserve a place anywhere, to be honest. What did I score it last time? I think I scored it really low. Great packaging. Tastes cheap. Next. So the next ones are a little controversial. And that is because I used a multi-pack that had 3 Musketeers, Milky Way, Snickers, and Twix. However, in the UK, we don't have 3 Musketeers. We have Mars bars and Milky Ways, Snickers, and Twix. I will touch on these 2 in a moment. Don't you worry, United Kingdom. We're going to start with the Snickers. Now, Snickers is a Snickers. Snickers is... it's a classic. You get it in celebration tubs, I want to say. Snickers. Oh. It's really warm. I went straight through that. I do love me a Snickers. I'm not the biggest fan of nuts in a bar.
That's what she said.
But I love me a Snickers. That's a Snickers. That is a Snickers. Peanuts are huge on this though. Yeah. Look at the size of those nuts. Now with Snickers, I am going to give that to the UK. And the reason being is because firstly, the chocolate is better. Secondly, like I said a moment ago, I'm not the biggest fan of nutty chocolate. America's for some reason has some really big nuts in. So for that, I do need to unfortunately give it to the UK. And that is not one that is a landslide victory. That is one that's just a technicality. Next up is the Twix. Now the Twix, I remember this one without even needing to look at the video. I noted that the USA's version of the Twix was a lot thicker, which I appreciated. And the reason being, we have quite an even ratio between the caramel and the biscuit. I liked how much biscuit was in the US. Taste-wise, I honestly don't remember there being any difference. I'm going to give Twix to the USA because I preferred having more biscuit to caramel ratio. I liked that. Okay, get your tea, people. This is a Milky Way. This is a Mars bar. Now, I explained this in the video. I'm going to explain it again, just so you don't have to keep back and forthing through videos. Milky Way. Americans have something called Milky Way. That's a Three Musketeer, isn't it? No. Milky Way, mate. A Milky Way and a Three Musketeer are effectively the same thing, except Milky Way is nicer than a Three Musketeer. Just saying. Mars bar is one of my favorites. I inherited the love for Mars bars from my father. Notice anything? Oh, that's right. You call that a Milky Way. For science. I'm going to put my Britishness on the line here. Who invented the Milky Way? The Milky Way chocolate bar came before the Three Musketeers candy bar, with the Milky Way first being sold in 1924 and the Three Musketeers in 1932. Not only is our Milky Way better than the Three Musketeer, but it came first. The Mars bar was first handmade in Slough, England. Today, the US Milky Way bar is sold worldwide as the Mars bar, while the global Milky Way bar is sold as the Three Musketeers in the US and Canada. See, America, you're the difficult ones. And that's a victory for us because we're just superior in that category. It's the chocolate. I'll be honest, the Mars bar was very, very similar to the Milky Way, but the Mars bar it is superior. It just is. The jelly is in the process of setting. I made it like 4 hours ago and it still hasn't set. Same. First on the sweets list, we have Airheads. Airheads. So fun fact, if you didn't know, there is a colorant that is used in a lot of American confectionery called Red 40 and another one called Yellow 5. And they are in fact prohibited in the United Kingdom, meaning that there are certain products that just don't get remade in the UK or remade to be sold in the UK, or they just keep them the same and you have to import them in order to bring them across. If I wanted to buy Airheads in the UK, I would just be bringing in and buying the same thing I already had. So I just didn't see the point in getting Airheads again. There are others on this list which are the same. I didn't mind Airheads. I don't think I loved them. What did I do with them? If it's below B, I'm gonna put it in the nope, because I don't think the US should get a victory just because the UK doesn't have it, because obviously there's a reason. Okay, it went in C, which means Airheads, you are getting the nope. So next we have the Nerds Gummy Cluster. Okay, so I'm gonna try and get that image back up for a good reason. Now these use the Red 40 that I just mentioned. However, the version that they do in the United Kingdom, it's a lot more pink. We use vegetable concentrates. These aren't vegan, just to clarify if you didn't know already, but they use pork gelatin, it says it on the back. But yes, we get the majority of our flavors from natural flavors, and our colorings are usually from a natural source. When though we say natural colorings, we don't mean that if it's blackberry flavored that the color has come from blackberries. It could be that we've used squid ink, for example, or charcoal. Charcoal? Coal. What's the edible one? Are they both edible? I don't remember. This was actually what made me say, you know what, I am going to make a part 2 when I realized that they existed. I know they scored highly. Oh, it smells just like the American ones did.
Disgustingly artificial.
Yes.
But I want to keep eating them.
Yes.
I genuinely don't know how I feel about these.
I was conflicted.
Could
I
I
know.
keep eating these?
Yeah.
Kind of. I think I'm going to rank these alongside the Reese's Pieces.
Okay.
For the
Okay, so I beat them. I put them on the B tier, and I honestly understand why, because of the amount of artificial. But could I put them down? No. They were so good. Like, I did really enjoy them. I'm kind of hoping that the UK's version is... That was what I was missing. Take out all the artificial crap. So next up are hot tamales. Okay. I don't know what so hot tamales, just like Airheads, they have red 40 in. There is no UK alternative for these, or if they are, it would be going completely like away from brand. So I know I didn't score that high. I don't even need to check. I know I didn't score them high. I liked them, didn't love them. So I'm going to pop them in the note just so it's fair. Okay. So the jelly hasn't completely set. It does have like tackiness to it on top. This is it. I've literally done the exact same. So as you can see, I've made a smaller portion. I learned from last time that I needed to not make such a big portion, but unfortunately, it is still quite liquidy. With us in the UK, so we have Hartley's, which is like everyone's go-to, I think, when it comes to jelly. There are very few companies that compete when it comes to it. I got the black cherry jelly as we don't really have cherry flavored things. We do, but lots of the time it is called black cherry. Black cherry is one of my favorite flavors. I did say in the last video, like black, just cherry in general, I love. It's just the exact same texture it was last time. So, bon appetit. Oh, this is gonna break my heart, man. But I have to give the jelly to the USA. I really do. So the problem was with the jelly in the UK is it isn't using anything artificial. So that cherry sweetness that you get from cherry flavored things, it's lacking because it's just using a natural cherry flavor versus the over-the-top sugary sweet that you get from artificialness. And I gotta say, it felt like it was missing. So I have to say that the US's jelly was better. So now we're going on to the last category, and I have added a little extra into the mix. Now, just like a lot of the sweets and confectionaries that we've already had in this video, a lot of cereals in the US for some reason also contain red 40 and yellow 5. So that means that things like Fruity Pebbles and Lucky Charms, they are not allowed in the UK to be sold unless they are being sold as imports. So the UK has basically made alternatives so that they can be made and distributed within the United Kingdom without breaching trading standards. That being said, there were two products which I could not find a fair UK alternative. The first being Apple Jacks, and the reason that I say this is because there are a lot of products in the UK that are apple and cinnamon flavored, and essentially I would just have to have stood at the shelf and tried to pick the one that I felt fit best, and I thought that that just wouldn't be giving Apple Jacks a fair shot. That's not terrible. I think truthfully, though, I would still opt more on the path than the Okay. You know, the thing is, I think that with Apple Jacks, I was being harsh. I think that there was a lot of artificial going on at the time, and I think it was a little bit overpowering for me. So I am going to put Apple Jacks to the USA because they weren't terrible. I didn't hate them. And when I went back and I ate them, I actually enjoyed them and I didn't mind it. It wasn't an issue. I think I just had a bit of a sugar overload that day. The other product that I wasn't able to find a UK alternative for was Fruity Pebbles. And let's just I'm trying to eat it quickly just to get rid of it. That was one of the most vile things I've ever put in my mouth. I stand by that statement too. This is actually quite interesting. I did not do this intentionally, but we have ended up with a tie between the US and the UK with 3 to go, which means that someone is gonna be a definitive winner, but it could be down to the wire. We have 3 different cereals behind me, and these are all the UK's versions of the US cereals, and I do believe that they all originated in the USA and then the UK have made their alternatives. First one they're going to do is the one that I have already opened and I have already consumed and I have already enjoyed. This is Curiously Cinnamon, which is the UK's version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yo, that's fucking banging. So I really enjoyed the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I have actually been really enjoying this cereal. I'm really not going to enjoy doing this. I think I preferred Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't want to say it, but it's true. Like me eating that there and then seeing my reaction when I was eating it in June. Yeah. Now, the next one on the list is one that I am very interested to try. Marshmallow Mateys. Now, these were designed to be a competitor for Lucky Charms. Unlike Lucky Charms, they don't contain the prohibited items that you aren't allowed to put in food products in the United Kingdom. Let's watch, shall we? What the fuck? That doesn't look like cereal. That does not smell like cereal. That smells like diabetes. I'm really struggling to see how this is cereal. If this is targeted at children, that concerns me quite a bit. That literally just tasted like food coloring, and that is vile. Needless to say, I did not like Lucky Charms. So when I was looking through the internet to see if there was a UK alternative, I came across these Marshmallow Mateys, which are by Malto Meal. Honestly, never heard of them before. I mean, it doesn't look bad in comparison. That's what it looks like in the bowl, nonetheless. Sorry, my light is making it look even paler than it actually is. It's a baby blue, baby purple, baby pink, so it's not the most bold of colours. They're very pastel. I didn't try the marshmallow beforehand, but oh well, here we go. That ain't a bad cereal. It's definitely a lot sweeter than I would like it. But unlike Lucky Charms, it did not make me feel like I was about to fall into a diabetic coma. We're at a tie. And that brings us to our final item. Fruit Loops. The reason that I got them is because I had the option when I was in the States to purchase Fruit Loops, and I decided to go with the Fruity Pebbles, and I felt like that was kind of mean. Didn't really give them a fair shot. So I thought, well, let's buy the UK's version. Now, if I dislike these, they go to the US. If I like these, it's going to the UK. That's my decision. That's what's going to happen. If the UK have produced something that I feel like belongs in America. Okay, here we go. This is weird. The thing is, it's not bad. It's just weird. Bear with.
One eternity later.
Okay. So James and I actually discussed that for quite a while. The issue that we both had was that the flavour of it is very subtle. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. And Fruit Loops was supposed to be a bit of a tiebreaker. So I'm going to have to put the Fruit Loops in the nope because I physically can't categorise them. So now that puts me in a position of saying it's a tie. And that feels like I have no integrity. And like looking at this now, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything on this list. It actually is a tie. That's really annoying. Okay guys, that is going to do it for the video today. If you do have any other items that you would like me to try, then please do let me know in the comments. If you've got any ideas for any other games or content you'd like to see, also be sure to put those down below. Or alternatively, you are more than welcome to join our Discord. There will be a link to that in the description box below. So as always, stay safe, stay hydrated, and I hope to see you real soon. Okay, bye!